Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm a licensed independent clinical social worker and a registered yoga instructor with a private practice in Massachusetts, and this is the Theology Therapist YouTube channel. I have a bachelor's and master's degree in religious studies, and I know firsthand how toxic fundamentalist and cultic religious communities can be. So thanks for being here. Before we jump into today, remember to subscribe to the Theology Therapist YouTube channel and press the bell notification so you can get updates on all weekly new releases. If you find any of this helpful, I would love if you would leave a comment below and share with a friend. So let's get started. So today I want to talk about trusting yourself or learning to do that after religious trauma. As we probably all know, one of the biggest effects of religious trauma is shame. The experience of shame is so profound and unexpected, probably in some ways, that it can be hard to pinpoint, or it can just be blatantly obvious. Some of the ways in which the areas in which you might feel shame about your experience being in like a cult or in a fundamentalist religious group is like they might surprise you. Some of that might be feeling ashamed about having never dated before or not knowing things that you like, right? Like there are a lot of ways that you might feel that. Without that religious context, we have a loss of a coping mechanism in a sense. So before, when there was something that you didn't know, religion told you how to go about getting it. Pray, ask the bishop or the elders, or read the Bible, right? If your religious beliefs have changed, then you may not have a way anymore, or yet, to figure out your opinion on something. So when you're figuring out like what you like, when you're figuring out your opinion on something, right, this idea of trusting yourself, learning your own voice, learning to trust that voice, it might in the beginning feel like you are in a dark room without a light, that you are like, kind of searching around and trying to find your way, but like have no kind of way of like kind of understanding where you are. We have to develop like these sort of other coping skills. We have to shift that tendency of looking outside or that coping mechanism of asking others. And we have to find a new one in order to learn about how to ask ourselves. Similarly, that locus of control has shifted from externally to internally, where you might be used to giving your power away to the bishop or the priest or the rabbi. And so there might not be like a sense of authority anymore, even if you are the authority, right? Like there's a learning process of learning that you are that authority. Why does this happen? Simply put, bad conditioning. You were taught that everyone else is the authority and whether or not something is good or bad. You were taught that bodies are bad and your body is going to tell you when something is off. But you may be in the habit of thinking that it is, an attack from like the devil. If you notice that you're feeling sluggish or fatigued or you're having a hard time concentrating or you're tense. So if you notice any of these body sensations, you might have been taught that those were attacks from the devil or evil forces to kind of prevent you from getting closer to God or to prevent you from listening to the sermon or whatever it is. So how do you get back the ability to trust yourself after religious trauma? First, I want you to just spend some time thinking about what is it that you want to believe. At this point, if you've identified that there's been religious trauma, you might have already identified that there are beliefs that you can't get on board with. And so it's important to start identifying then what are those new beliefs? What are the beliefs that you can get on board with? Whether it's just an ethic, whether it's those theological beliefs, like whatever those are, it's important to identify what are the things that you do believe. Next, looking at who you are surrounded by and are they going to verbally and non-verbally support your life changes? That's really important. Your community is hugely important in your perspective of the world and your experience of the world. And so are they going to verbally and non-verbally support that? Then always bringing it back to the body, checking in with your body. How do these beliefs feel in my body? How does this community, how do I feel after I go to this like group thing? How do I feel after I hang out with that person? And checking in, what is my body telling me? That is an important part of learning how to trust yourself after religious trauma. And then like starting simple and asking, what is one thing that I can do today to trust that I'm the expert on me? So maybe it's trusting that today is so jam-packed that you can't make dinner. Like you just don't have it in you. And so you're gonna like pop in that frozen pizza, or you're gonna pick up dinner. Like trusting that you are that expert, that's okay. That's not like you're not failing, you're not doing it badly. Like trusting that judgment about your capacity to be able to of like what your day looks like, of what you can manage, right? Like trusting that judgment is accurate because you are the expert on you. That's an example of one thing that you could do today. It doesn't have to be big theological stuff. It starts in the little stuff, right? Like it starts, if you were here a few weeks ago with, my example about eggs. Maybe that's like, me years ago going to the grocery store and saying, like, I'm just gonna like pick the first carton of eggs I see, right? Like that's the one way that I'm gonna show myself that I trust myself. So they don't have to be big things. They can be little things. So if you try something out today, I would love if you would let us know in the comments how it goes. How did it go to trust yourself and like learn a little bit more about what your voice sounds like and what that experience was like for you? Let me know. And share this with a friend if you have someone you know who could trust themselves a little bit more. It was great to see you today. I will see you next week. Be well.